Hello, everybody. Nice to have you again over here. It's my great pleasure to welcome again Diego Romeiro, Chief Scientist from the Global Impact Alliance, here with us on our Frogeex Green Tech Live. And today we want to bridge corporate and real sustainability. So why do we have such a topic? Actually, maybe Diego, would you like to give us a little bit of an intro? What is your perception on this kind of duality that we see? What is pledged? What is the business practice? And how can we bring that two together?
Um, yeah, like first, I think we have this situation because the lack of knowledge about ecology from corporates. This is the first point that make business don't do the real sustainability because they don't understand and they don't see what they need to do. And yeah, to fix that, I think the most valuable thing to do is to give knowledge to them to understand where they are making wrong, and how to fix or how to improve a business model align with the ecology.
Definitely, definitely. And that's why we are here in this type of discussions, sharing awareness, sharing information, how things are done, or maybe how they can be improved. So you prepared also a little intro for us. Would you like to maybe share your presentation? And we have like a quick intro on the topic. We have some case studies there or some examples.
Hmm.
And then we are more than happy if you like to share with us your thoughts or comments, etc. We are streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So don't be shy and share with us if you have any thoughts or questions, pardon me, about the topic.
Hmm. Yeah. Uh,
I think I see it.
yeah. So for today, I bring first the vision that corporate sustainability have today, to help with the examples why they don't reach the goals or the pledge that they want. So here we have three mentions. So the first, like in bold, the idea is behind the corporate sustainability is about business strategies that focus on ethical, social, environmental, cultural, and economic dimensions of doing business. This second one, more than just protecting the environmental, works in steps with societal and environmental goals. Business strategy for long-term growth, and this is something that we need to look very careful. Harmony with people and the planet. So they divide in three pillars: environmental, social, and economic, from shareholder centric to stakeholders. So look into these 3 points, these three mentions. So first thing that we can identify, uh, they are looking to grow, and this is not so aligned, or it's not aligned with nature because we cannot grow without limits. They separate most of the times people from planet, or societal for environmental, and they divide environmental, social, and economic pillars. And all this from a systemic perspective or a systemic thinking, it's all interconnected, have interdependence. So we cannot separate things like this. And here they switch from shareholder to stakeholders. But even stakeholders, they are not looking carefully to the nature that is part of the stakeholders too. And we go further, and so this mentions driving down business cost. So this was the first thing, and now they are looking to a new perspectives, act as a strategic lever that drives new growth opportunities and enhance performance. So they want to grow using this opportunity again. And here they show that this can help companies to continue grow. Purpose driving companies with better ESG profiles outperform. So again, they don't understand the situation and they don't understand the ecology behind. And so when we think about the ecology of the planet or how nature works, it's impossible to have in mind that we can grow without limits within the nature.
Also, maybe because you mentioned a statement around cost. I'm just wondering if we can see completely your presentation. If you would like
Yeah.
to maybe change the slide, because I'm not quite sure if it's moving forward.
Oh, it's not moving.
I think
Like this second.
yes, we are still on this on the slide number 2.
Oh, okay.
Let's
Yeah.
maybe reshare. But so as for yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Sometimes it's
No, no, don't
difficult.
worry. Yeah, I don't know what's happened too because I will try again.
Sure, sure, sure. I mean, we have room for that for sure. So no worries. So there.
Maybe,
Mhm.
yeah, let's keep here. Here you can see.
Yes, that's yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, like the third slide that I mentioned. So driving down business costs and the new perspectives act as a strategic lever that drives new growth opportunities and enhance performance from web and from BlackRock. Purpose drive companies with better ESG profiles outperforming. So again, like the ESG, we are talking to separate things, and in nature we integrate things, not separate. So here it's not the idea that they have behind from corporate sustainability is wrong from the beginning. So yeah, they never will reach the goals that they want or the pledge that they want. And here to take like examples, we have the top five companies from 2023
Hmm.
and like based on ESG.
Hmm.
And yeah, what these companies have in common. So yeah, lack of integration
Hmm.
and no sense of limit, because all the companies work with the ideas that I shared before. You separate things. You don't have limits, so you want to grow exponentially or linear without limitations, without understand the limitations that the nature and the planet can put on us.
Hmm.
So here are the goals or what they achieve right now. Circular economy, net carbon free. So this is a company that recycle metals.
Hmm.
Uh, Vestas is a company that produce renewable energy. So they share the idea that they have circular economy and they will achieve net carbon free in 2030. Brambles is a company of supply chain, so transportation and all these things. They said that they are nature positive, circular economy, and net carbon free. Brookfield's another company from renewable energy, net carbon free, just because they produce renewable energy, and they don't like it's all the same problem. And even Autodesk, like they said that they are net carbon free because they use just renewable energy, and they are helping advanced sustainable business practice because they produce a lot of softwares for civil engineer, architects, and all. But all these softwares don't promote sustainable practice, are just uh, are just softwares to draw most of the time. So
Hmm.
and
So Mhm.
Yeah, go on.
Hearing you say this, and it's also a great opportunity to go more into the details, and to bridge the gaps if we can, or kind of understand the details. So, for example, this company Brambles, quite
Yeah,
interesting. Nobody else. I mean, everybody is carbon net carbon free. They have nature positive. So, what would it mean to be nature positive? What it means based on kind of your research on the topic, on their profile, on their activities. What does it mean? How should it?
yeah, yeah.
How is it
So
displayed, or put in action?
yeah, so Bramble said that they plant two trees for one tree that they use. So they use trees to use the wood,
Mm-hmm,
and they said that they are nature positive because they give double from each tree that they use. But
mm-hmm,
they are looking just to the research that they are using. Brambles is a company from transportation and supply chain,
mm-hmm,
and like thinking about just the research that you take from nature and thinking that you give double because you are planting two trees from each tree that you take out. It's crazy. It's kind of a greenwashing because they don't care about how much roads, how much space they use to do all this transportation. The space that they use, yeah, to with the company, with all this, uh, the space that they use about the energy production that they use. So we take a lot more from nature than just the resource that we use, and we need to take care about that. Uh, so when we think about real sustainability, the first point that we need to have in mind is the land footprint. So the land footprint is something that like it's finite. We just have this planet, so we need to work in the best way possible to use the space, like nature. Nature don't use the space just for one thing.
mm-hmm,
Most of the times when you go to the forest, a forest do the transpiration, sequester carbon. It's
mm-hmm,
a house or a home for a lot of living beings. Have this recycle of elements. So it's all integrated in small spaces. So
mm-hmm,
they use in the best way possible the space, and we are not doing that because we use all the time for one only thing. So we have a house and we have the rooftop. Why we don't use the rooftop for other things to produce energy, to sequester carbon, to filter water from the rain, to use for other things. So we need to be more clever, more smart to use these spaces. This is one point. And like so have this nature positive. First is it's a greenwashing marketing because yeah, like they are not looking for everything. So to be nature positive, they need to give back or to help nature more than just the resource. How they help with the land footprint that they use. They are open more areas for biodiversity, or they are integrating the biodiversity with the company. So this is the points that we can start to understand about this. And yeah, and even the other companies like net carbon free, they are just looking to the energy that they're using or the emissions.
mm-hmm,
But when we think about nature, it's more than that. It's not just about carbon. It's about the water cycle that they are destroying sometimes because they use the land footprint, reduce the evapotranspiration from the forest, from the vegetation, and even the circular economy. It's interesting because they have the idea like a perpetual machine that we can restore the resource all the time without causing any damage to the planet. But when we think about restore the resource, we are using a lot of energy, and energy can impact the planet too, because you can increase the temperature locally. This can cause a lot of damage to the environment, reduce the biodiversity and all. So it's not just about the resource. We need to look to things holistically. So this is why they don't reach the real sustainability. And here I bring the what will be the vision of real sustainability.
Mhm.
So it's an approach based on holistic ecology. Why holistic ecology? Because holistic ecology understand that our species, the human species, it's part of the nature, it's part of the biodiversity, it's part of the planet. So we integrate the studies, including the species, and not separated in the way that they use right now, like the social and environmental. Because we are a species part of a huge ecosystem. So we need to work in that way, that aims to establish a business strategy integrated with nature and not separate like they do right now, looking just to the stakeholders and all, increasing the business resilience and the environmental where the business is established. Here we are talking about the bioregions. So don't make sense to increase the business resilience without improve the environmental resilience together, because the environment will give the resilience to the business too. It's like the business is part of the environment, so we need to think about the system that the business are included. It creates long-term value for stakeholders. So the first idea about sustainability, that we need to create something that the child in the future can have good opportunities to, without breaking the boundaries of the natural systems. So the planetary boundaries, or the boundaries that nature put on us, and optimize and not be efficient, because efficient, we are not using clever and smart enough the resource that we are using. So optimize the process utilizing the system thinking. These are the key elements to go from corporate sustainability to real sustainability. So working with this vision, companies can reach the real sustainability. And here I just bring four words that summarize all the idea behind nature, because nature is like a open book for us with all the knowledge. We just need to know how to study this knowledge that nature give to us all the time. It's free, it's open for everyone, and yeah, most of the time people don't care about that. So integration, you don't see open spaces in nature, even from the temperate to the tropical regions. You cannot see open spaces in the nature, because nature use all the spaces with different kinds of living beings to use the resource to do the biogeochemical cycles and all. So it's very integrated. Optimization, nature use like the resource the best way possible, without losing, without creating too much waste, optimizing the process. Limitation, here we have two kinds of limitation. We have the space limitation, and we have the resource limitation that nature handle to not overuse the resource or the space. So all the space, it's used in a way. And even when we look to a forest, even the space that are created from other living beings, different living beings start to use the space that these living beings create. So they use the limitations of space and resource to get better opportunities. And the diversity, they use a lot of diversity to use the different opportunities. So when you look to the nature, you have the top of the forest, the the soil or the ground of the forest. And with diversity or the biodiversity, nature can use the different opportunities. And we need to learn from that. We need to learn to use the different opportunities that nature and the planet give to us. Using these forwards, we can achieve better results in sustainability and become more aligned with nature. So yeah, this is the presentation.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Diego. And we have a great time, like 10 minutes to still exchange on some thoughts and ideas. So, is there any, I mean, we had it also in the previous discussion, is there any best practice where you can share a business model, how it's based or rooted in these principles or has kind of reflected them in their concept, integrating, optimizing? Um, yeah.
Yeah, like I think we need to base all the time the sustainability in these four words because this is how nature works.
Hmm.
But like for nature or for the business, it's impossible to create patterns or
Hmm.
follow steps for the business because each business have particularities from the business, from the environmental around the business, from the people, from the culture. So all the time we need to like this is why before I said that it's better to have knowledge, to understand ecology, to understand the behavior and all, like to improve the knowledge about the things. Because with knowledge, you can understand what happens within the system, with the
Hmm.
particularities of each system. And then you can promote actions that fit to the system, to each system, need to be customized.
Hmm.
It's impossible to create like the ESG that they give patterns and follow steps for every business. Like it's impossible. We cannot compare the temperate region with the tropical region. Like the
Hmm.
biodiversity is different, the weather is different, the soil is different, all the things are different. The culture of people is different. So we need to work looking all these difference, all the diversity of these spaces and the culture and the biodiversity to understand how we can work using the systemic thinking, using the knowledge from holistic ecology, from yeah physics, chemistry, like
Hmm.
be transdisciplinary.
Hmm. And okay, so for example, as a company working with wood, with forests, what would be the kind of priority areas that I can look at um, to work out best possible ways to move into a more real yeah, real sustainability model, a real business model that is rooted in like
Yeah,
real impact. Hmm.
I just missed the word. Which industry?
Wood company, wood or
Oh, wood
forestry or
company. Oh yeah,
furniture.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, this kind of company, all the time we see they sharing the idea that they are the best in ESG, in sustainability and all. But yeah, in the end, they it's the main point. They don't have limits and they don't have the integration. So they work all the time with monoculture,
Hmm.
using species most of the times exotic to the area, and
Hmm.
this causes a lot of damage. It's can sequestrate a lot of CO2, yeah, sure, but can mess the water cycle in the region, can reduce the area for biodiversity. So how they can improve that? They need to work together with nature. So try to create forests with multi-species. This can help to improve the functioning of the nature within the forest. I know that sometimes it's difficult. It's more easy to go with monoculture, but if they change to a multi-species afforestation, they can increase the results, even the production of the forest. They can improve the retain of water in the soil. They can improve the biodiversity comes to the forest, and this can reduce the disease of the forest, can improve the resilience of the forest, can reduce the chances to wildfires in this kind of forest, because you keep the moisture in the forest, and this will reduce the chance from a wildfire. So it's working with nature. It's a lot more better than try to create something that it's completely different from nature. Like nature have it's when we start to think about nature, it's a millions of years of research and innovation. The nature produce a lot of biodiversity that right now most of the times we don't understand a lot of this biodiversity that nature creates. So why we try to create something that goes against uh, uh, an organism that have so million years of research and innovation? We need to learn from this.
And now going back to I'm sometimes I'm just gonna have a stupid question maybe.
Oh, no,
so,
no.
so let's go into
Any
that.
any question is stupid.
Let's have it right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so as a business owner, now we picked this wood topic because there is a lot of discussion. There are alternatives. It's very interesting field, as what you said, many applications, and it's also in nature because it's like every business uses some kind of natural resource. Maybe they are not so much aware. With wood, you have something concrete. It's a tree. You take it down, you use it for whatever, a chair or a wall or floor or whatever house, whatever you use it for. So how does the business benefit from, for example, investing? I'm a business owner. I have my, monocultures. I have my monocultures, plantations of nice forests that are very clean, easy to maintain and to harvest and manage. And so, how do I benefit from having more biodiversity, having there on the plantation, or how does it reflect in the reality, having also or investing time and resources into that?
Yeah, it's like I mentioned before, like taking this example, like the forest wood production or paper and pulp production from forests. Yeah, like increasing the resilience of the forest will give back a lot of input that they like the money that they apply to improve the biodiversity or improve nature within the forest. But most of the times the business don't understand or don't see that because they are looking to a small period of time. So most of the business they look to 3 months in front, or I don't know, 6 months, and all these results take time, take a year at least, or 3, 5 years, 10 years. And then if the business starts to apply money to increase the nature within the business, the results they will collect the results in years, not in months. That most of the companies do the forecasting to look how much I put in money, and how much I will take back from that. So this is the difference. They need to start to look more in years upfront and not months. This will change the perspective of business too.
Hmm.
And yeah, like working with nature, the results increase the resilience, can reduce the costs, can increase the productivity, but all the time, a company need to look to the limitation of the bioregion or the space that they are working.
Hmm.
So this is one of the points that why bioregions is so important, because sometimes companies try to produce more that
Mhm.
than bioregion can produce, and they sell to another place.
Mhm.
And yeah, and this is one point that can create more problem for business in yeah.
Mhm. I think one of the key points that you mentioned, it's very special to where sustainability is right now, or the whole business approach is. It's really a strategic decision. It's a strategic decision if you want to do it, if you are kind of aware of the facts of the kind of implications, because if you decide to do it at a later point, you will be just on the edge of doing the changes, implementing them in time, and harvesting the full benefits of what you would have if you just do it as soon as possible. For
Yeah,
example, when we talk about forest management and furniture and pulp and paper and what you have, and also bamboo, etc., it's always a great discussion around that. And it's good we have this, and it's also a very much needed discussion, because we need to be aware of the pros and cons and be able to make a decision which is really like solid in, because it's going to be affecting us for maybe next 20, 30 years or
yeah,
more.
yeah,
So it's a very interesting point that you mentioned, that this business perception of short-term returns, or like you have the vision of one financial year. What is it in a natural cycle for a tree? For many people kind of even still think heating with wood is a great idea. You know, which is a kind of burning resources that are having a much higher value if they're alive than when they're dead. So
yeah,
it's a very interesting perspective where I also would agree with you to define to make a final point, that education is essential, but also the perspective of this shorter money and the risk. I mean, but we have it on every side. That's why people are so vague on their decision to move into sustainability, to
yeah.
make the transition. So very interesting
Yeah,
point.
just giving a small example, like when we think of afforestation for sequestering CO2, an afforestation will start to really sequestrate CO2 after at least 10 years. Before that, it's unbalanced, like the area lose more CO2 than sequester. So it's 10 years a strategy plan to start to really take out more CO2 than the area produce. So nature works like this. It's long term, not short term.
And this also brings us a little bit to back of the whole perception and the whole discussion around sustainability, for how much how short human life is, because we consider that as it's like 100 years, what I mean 160, whatever it is, whatever the number is, you or I will have. um yeah, it's so interesting because the processes are much longer, and how they convert, how they process. So very interesting discussion as again. Thank you so much for sharing, Diego, your perspective on how we can bridge this massive gap between what the pledges are, where the understanding is, and in terms of corporate sustainability, of the shallow waters of corporate sustainability, and how can we kind of build a bridge to, yeah, let's have a real impact, let's really go for that. So thank you so much for taking the time being here with us.
Thank you.
See you on the next one. I wish you a great rest of the day, and see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.